Hi there, Clint Adams here, President of your association, the Master Landscapers of South Australia. And in line with my promise to you at the start of my presidency, I'm making yet another video to keep you updated around the things that we are working on as a board and as the employees of the Landscape Association. So, the first and probably most important thing that I want to talk to you about is the retirement of one of our longest serving board members, Simone Workus. Simone's been working with the association for over 20 years and has been a pivotal piece of putting together things like the awards, and has done so for a very long time, as much as she would hate me to say it like that. Simone leaves a massive gap around education knowledge for the board, as well as the amount of work that she was doing to help with things like the awards. So I really want to just publicly thank Simone and encourage you, if you have had any interaction with her over the years, to reach out and just wish her all the best in what follows. I'm not sure what she's going to be doing with all that spare time, but hopefully whatever it is, she's enjoying herself. Now, what that leads into is that we had a board vacancy from her position, but we actually were also holding another board vacancy from the standing down of Simon from Climbing Tree. Now, in our constitution, so we as a board held accountable to a constitution. The constitution allows us as a board to vote in casual vacancies to cover those positions that are left by those two retired board members. And so we've done that in the recent couple of weeks. And so it gives me great pride and happiness to be able to announce that we now have two casual board vacant positions filled with two, with their casual positions. With Ryan Elmy, who is the Director of Outscape Construction, and Judy Parks, who is one of the Directors of RO Training. You may have seen them around a lot. Judy's quite active in the community. Now, when we as a board are looking to fill those casual vacancies, we take a lot of things into account, and obviously we canvass people that we've known that are interested, and then as a board we make a decision around who we think would best serve you, the membership. Obviously having a skilled landscaper on the board to replace a skilled landscaper was high on our priority, but also to find someone in the education space to take care of what Simone was doing for us was really important. So Judy brings with her a lot of board experience. She's probably one of the more experienced board members as a board member, but she also understands the pathways to government to help us with things around traineeship, apprenticeship, education, and licensing. So I really look forward to what she can bring to the board. And then obviously Ryan, being a landscape construction director who runs a business with circa 40 people working for him, is deeply across the day-to-day challenges that you as a landscaper has, or a landscape designer or a landscape maintenance person. Obviously he has his businesses in all three areas. So having him come on board, I think, is really important. I've always been a big advocate for the Landscape Association to be represented by landscapers, landscape designers, and then obviously landscape maintenance professionals. And we almost cover that. Well, we technically do cover that with Ryan being on the board now from a maintenance standpoint, but we also have board members that are covering off the design and architecture standpoint. So I'm really proud of the board that we have now. It was nice to not go backwards when we had the retirement of some very skilled people. And I'm really looking forward to what's to come. Now, those two positions will have to come up for voting at the next AGM. So as they were a casual vacancy, I think both of those positions were due in around October when we have our next AGM. So obviously keep your eyes peeled. It'll give them an opportunity to get a taste for what it's like to be involved. And then obviously we'll come back to you, the membership, to vote on the board at the next AGM. So following on from that, we have been very busy. The subcommittees that work underneath the board, which are board members that have created kind of silos of activity, have been super active. And to be honest, it's probably the most active I've seen subcommittees in my time on the board. The first thing I want to talk about is the Industry Development Subcommittee have been working on the Careers Expo, which is coming up real soon. I was quite excited to hear the plan that they had for the Careers Expo and the amount of volunteers that they'd had from the landscape and design community and maintenance community. I keep forgetting to say all three. Last year at the Careers Expo, it was pretty much Amanda, Neil, and I and some other board members that volunteered, and we were not representative of the jobs that these potential, the new employees that were coming out of education and moving into the workforce should have been seeing. And so it's really nice to now see that we have landscapers, landscape designers, landscape architects, landscape maintenance professionals that are going to be on that stand to be able to talk to these children in most cases, or young adults that are about to move into the workforce, which will give a better representation of what it's like to work in the landscape industry, which is one of the most diverse industries that we have here in Australia. Following on from that, we have a trip to the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show coming up. So some of the board members will be there, but also Amanda, our CEO, will be there. It'll give her an opportunity to catch up with her colleagues from Landscape Victoria, but also to spend some time with our members, but also to spend some time with sponsors and potential sponsors to help us to grow the association. Now, as a membership, you're probably wondering why that matters. Without the support of members and sponsors, we don't have money, and without money, we can't pay wages, and without wages, our staff cannot continue working towards improving things that we as an association see as important to you, things like licensing, things around apprenticeship and traineeships, things around the public perception of landscaping. So for Amanda to be able to do that is really valuable. So I'll report back on that next video. Next. Apprentice versus trainee. This has the potential to have tripped up a few of you over the last couple of years, but an apprentice is not a trainee. And that subcommittee that's working on that is at the start of understanding the paperwork required to be able to get landscaping moved from a traineeship to an apprenticeship, which is very, very important. It has different connotations at a federal level, but it also means in our eyes, and I think most of you, it's viewed differently when spoken about in the general public, and an apprenticeship sounds different to a traineeship when someone's looking to do one. And probably most importantly, from a real-time standpoint at the moment, you can't claim your trainees as apprentices with your return to work. So if you have been doing that, be very, very careful, because you may have been claiming things that you shouldn't have. And I encourage you to have a look into that if you have trainees that you are considering as apprentices in your mind, because the government do not consider them apprentices. Next, SA Landscape Festival is around the corner, 15th and 16th of April. If you are interested in looking at some of the best gardens in South Australia, this is your time to do so. It's a very inexpensive way to go look at some of the best work that's been installed here in the last couple of years, which you would not generally have access to. These are private gardens, and so the only way you're going to see them is on Instagram if they've been shared. And one of the great things that is different about this year is, in the previous years, a lot of the people that have entered those gardens haven't been in a position to look at other gardens, because one of the conditions of them entering is that they're at their garden to be able to, or at the landscape to be able to talk to any of the people that have come past about what they've done and answer questions. And so this year, thanks to the major sponsor, Toro, we have a bus of all of the garden and landscape construction professionals are able to go view all the other gardens for a day before they spend a couple of days getting to hear how amazing the gardens they've built are in their gardens. So that's really cool. Not finally, second to last thing, the Awards of Excellence. We have a date locked in, Saturday, November the 18th at the Convention Centre. If you do not have this in your diary, I encourage you to do so. This will be, I think, the biggest awards that we have ever had. I've been having conversations with a lot of landscapers and landscape designers in the last couple of weeks, probably month, around entering, and I'm getting a good sense that we're going to have a lot higher entrance than we ever have had. I think that's really important. I think if you're going to win one of these awards, you want to be up against the best. And so I think it means a lot more when there's a strong attendance and a strong entrance into these awards for the people that win them. So make sure you got that in your calendar, and obviously more details will follow. Finally, I want to welcome back Habitat Landscaping and Outside Ideas, who have rejoined in the last month, and also to welcome Lux Landscape Construction and Fresh Construction, who are new members. We are seeing a lot of activity in the membership side of things, and probably, to be honest, as much activity in the sponsorship side of things. I think because of the activity that we're having around things like this communication and actually being transparent, as well as the events that we're hosting, as well as the general feel for how the board is acting, and then, and actually that's probably not fair. The board have always been active. I just don't think we've communicated that well with the membership. And I think now that the members and the sponsors are seeing the importance of the association for the industry, we're getting a lot more support. So welcome to those new members, returning members. As we have new sponsors come on board officially, I'll announce them in the coming videos. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch or listen to this. If you've got questions, obviously I've talked about our transparency, so if you're concerned about anything, please reach out. We are looking for engagement and contribution from the members around the apprentice versus trainee. So if you have, I don't know, a mate who knows their way around getting that sorted out, or if you've had experience with that, if you're having trouble with that, please don't hesitate to get in touch. We are here to advocate for landscapers, landscape designers, and landscape maintenance professionals. So without feedback from you, we will just keep moving forward around what we believe is the right thing to do. That is it. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you real soon.